true story. I'm not sure if you have seen my post on Facebook or not, but here I am sharing with you my true story about me. How did it become the way I am? Many people ask me, Olga, I would love to be like you. How did you become like yourself now? Confident, so happy, so free, so amazing. And I always say, well, it wasn't that easy. Okay. Well, when I say it wasn't that easy, maybe I shouldn't say these words because I'm sure that probably will put off some people. But I would like to say it's possible. Okay. Sometimes it can be challenging. Sometimes it can be frustrating because there are lots of things which you need to learn about your journey. And I would like to share, first of all, the vision which I always had because I strongly believe no matter where you are right now in the life, you have to have a vision. You could be young, you could be mid-age, you could be a lot older. My youngest client was 17-year-old, my oldest client was 73-year-old. And let me tell you one thing, it's never too late and it's never too early to transform and change your life. So what happened with me? I had a vision. And since I was a little girl, I remember age around about, oh, I just realized I have some sand on my shoulder. Well, you can tell, obviously, I was on the beach, right? Since I was little, around about age of 11 or 12, I was always passionate about traveling. And I was always, you know, cutting out those pictures, those beautiful pictures of mountains and cities and oceans and whatever else from the magazines. And I was putting them on the wall in my room because that was my passion. I was just fascinating how beautiful the world is. And I just wanted to see every single corner of this world. And I was just dreaming that one day I'll be able to go out there and travel and see the world and taste the food and get to know people and all of that. And I must say that it was a beautiful dream, but it was a dream which was not supposed to happen. And it was not supposed to happen because just like my mom one day, she walked into my room and she said, Olga, we don't have money for all of that. I know you're dreaming, but you are really putting yourself off because you will never make this happen. And bless my mom, she worked so hard for all of us and she really made her best to raise four children, right? And I must say, probably single-handedly, even though she had support was not that great, right? So I truly respect my mom and I really love her. But at the time, I was really angry. And I was so disappointed that we are in this situation where we live in this small place called Tushki in Latvia, and there's no opportunities here. And I had this dream, and now she comes into my room and she says it's not possible. But at that time I learned there'll be always somebody in your life who will tell you what's possible, what's not possible. And something you should always remember if you really want that, if you really crave that, if you really dream about that, it will happen. Just like it happened in my life, right? The countries I've visited so far are countless, right? The place where I'm staying right now is Gran Canaria, it's Canary Island. I think when I was little, I didn't even know about this place. Okay, I wasn't even aware of this place existing in this world, right? And here I am right now talking to you from the beach and really enjoying every second of this, even though I have sand all over my body, right? But it's another part. It's another part of my journey, which I will get to. So I must say that all of you, whether you have a vision right now or you don't, start building your vision. Start working on your vision. Start thinking, what do you dream about? What is it one thing I really want to happen in my life? What is the one thing that if that would happen, it would just make me so incredibly satisfied and so incredibly crazy and so incredibly happy and so excited because that particular thing actually will make you happy. Like for me, I'm so happy I was always going after that. Was it easy? Not at all. Let me take you on a journey. So what was happening as I was growing up? Because of the place where we used to live, as I said, Tushki, it was far away from a city. It was about 20 minutes on the bus to get to school. And then to get to the bus stop, we would have to walk, I think it was around about 40 minutes or 30 minutes, right? So you get the idea, right? You wake up really early, you get on the bus, you go to school. And I know, I was far more privileged at that time than many other children nowadays, right? And The truth is, I never saw it that way, because my truth, which I saw at that time, was that we are not privileged, that we are poor, that we don't have money, that we don't have opportunities. And as a result of my thinking that way, of I'm not enough, our family is not good enough, and I was bullied because they are not fair. They don't see that our family doesn't have money. They don't understand that, right? That was my truth. But that truth was that actually it was me not willing to grow. It was me not willing to really understand that what I project, I will get back. So, what I would like to tell you, whatever you are projecting right now, whatever you see right now in your world around you, start within yourself, right? You will save yourself those many years, which I was wasting on being angry and disappointed. You will save all those years if you will just change the truth within yourself, okay? It's not the truth of the world that the world is not fair. It's your truth, the way how you feel about yourself. And that was manifesting in my life. All that bullying, all that laughing, at me, and that I came from a small village, that I didn't look that great. We didn't have many things. I didn't have a mobile phone. Right now, every child has a mobile phone, right? At least in the UK, right? And back then, it was such a thing. And I was so hurt and I was so disappointed. But then years later, only I realized that I was bullied by all those people simply because they probably felt insecure, simply because probably they felt they could be potentially bullied, and therefore they were bullying me because it was safer for them to find somebody who is weaker in their mind than themselves, right? So please remember, whatever happens in your world, start looking into what exactly do you project, what happens in your head, in your mind, what you give out to the world, because you will get that back. Okay? So this is really important to remember. And I would like just to say hello, everybody who joined me today from Saudi Arabia, which is amazing. Thank you so much. And oh, that's nice, Tara. Thank you so much. Love your message, Olga. Glad to connect with like-minded people. Thank you so much. It's beautiful, beautiful. And also, Ashok says from India, good to see you too. Um, Tara, yeah, I will check the message. Thank you so much. I will definitely double check that. And I will tell you why I'm not that active on social media, because some people also reached out to me and they were like, "Oh, God, I haven't seen you for a while on social media." But that is also part of my journey, which I will share with you in a minute. So what was happening? Remember, I had a vision, but then I had no opportunities. And also, I was laughed at because of the state of family we were in and because of where we lived. So what happened to me? I had to go into books. And now it sounds like, oh, you had to go into books. How lucky you were. You know what? At the time, I didn't think that way. At the time, I was just feeling sorry for myself that I don't have friends, that people don't support me, that I don't have my support network. And I thought, okay, in that case, I will be doing more reading. In that case, I will do more learning. And thankfully, I was always fascinated about personal development because I always wanted to understand why people achieve some things and some other people achieve a lot more things. And other people choose not to achieve anything, right? So, because I was so fascinated about that, I decided to go and learn and read and explore. So, I must say that for many, many years, books became my friends. And thanks to books, thanks to all those psychology books which I was reading, because I was fascinated, I really managed to change my thinking. I really managed to transform my mindset, transform what do I want, transform the way how I look at myself. And what's interesting, I learned how to close the gap between what I wanted and where I was at the time. And now we're talking about probably the age around about 15. And by that time, what's interesting, I already had so many people reaching out to me, right? Sometimes it would be randomly on a bus stop, sometimes it would be randomly somewhere else, where actually people would just start talking to me and they would want to actually just discuss, their life, or they would want to share something about them, and eventually would go into discussion. And I remember that particular conversation which I had with one lady. So we were talking about her marriage, and she told me about the issues and problems. And at the time already, I was able to help her to look at the perspective and um, to look at her situation from different perspectives. And what's interesting, After a while, she told me, Olga, you look so young, but you speak so wise. How old are you? And I told her, I'm 15. And I still remember the situation because it's like happened yesterday, right? So I told her I'm 15, and she said, "Oh my God, you know so much for your age. You're so wise, and it's incredible how much you know." And that time I realized, okay, that means if I share what I know, I can help more people. And this is how I start connecting with my mission. Okay. So I had a vision, if you remember, traveling, but I didn't believe it's possible because where our family was financial at the time. However, through my learnings, I realized that we create our own destiny. And I remember what I started doing from then is learning even more. And I must say, until now, I never stopped. I never stopped because I truly believe that learnings, exactly learnings, will help you to get to where you are, right? And there's actually a very timely question. Mohammed asked me, "Where are you?" Right now, I'm in Gran Canaria, which is Canary Islands, which is a beautiful, absolutely amazing, stunning island. Let me just share a little bit of the ocean. And the city where I'm in right now is called Las Palmas, which is really, really amazing and beautiful. So let me continue with the journey, right? So as you remember by now, I'm already learning even more than before, right? And I'm curious about how do we operate, why some people achieve more, others don't. And I started passing on my knowledge, even though I was so young, but already was able to pass on what I learned to other people. And that was making me so great. And this is the key, right? Wherever you are right now in your life, I'm sure you're wondering, what is my passion? Okay, what would I want to do in my life? Who am I, right? What's my passion? What's my mission? And the easiest way to find out what's your mission, what's your passion, is to actually start doing what you really, really enjoy. In my case, it was genuinely helping people, genuinely helping them to understand themselves, genuinely helping them to get to the nitty gritty of their problems, of their psychology, of their mindset. And at the time, trust me, I had no clue what mindset coaching is. I had no clue what a coach is. I had no clue what a speaker is, right? I didn't even think these professions existed, right? Because it was just not on my radar. And what's interesting, the more I was doing that, the bigger distance I was building with my classmates. And I remember one day when we were walking from school, we were talking about the future. We were talking about what do we want. And somehow I said that what I want is to travel around and ideally to help people to pass on the knowledge that I know, helping people to change their perception of themselves and their lives and their travel so I can really help them to transform themselves. And then I remember they looked at me thinking like, what? That's not a job. You can't do that. And then I remember from that day, I started to shut down. I started to shut down because I realized that what I want is not supported. So if you remember, my vision was already not supported about traveling the world by my mom because she was protecting me. She was from all her heart. She was protecting me from not being heard, right? Dreaming and not fulfilling my dreams. And then I also had even bigger gap because I realized what my age people want is not what I want. I want more. I want bigger. I want louder. I want to go far. I want to make a difference. And at that age, I realized it's not good to be different. Again, can you see how tricky subconscious was, right? It just built a story and let me believe that story. And what's interesting, I became to close more and more and more. And not only that, then at some point, I remember my stepdad, he realized I'm growing up and I'm not sure what exactly was in his thoughts and his mind and you can never really realize what people think. But he started playing with me, and kissing and stuff like that. And that really messed my head even more because now not only I don't feel good enough, not only I feel like I'm too different and it's not good to be different, but also now I feel ashamed and I feel like what have I done? Probably I was exposing too much. Probably I was looking too good. Probably something else I've done wrong or said wrong. So as you can see, more and more and more, I was detaching from myself. I was disconnecting with myself. And trust me, for me to share something like this right now on social media is a very big step because I know I'm stepping out of my cage. I know I'm stepping out of not willing to be so vulnerable, because at that age, I actually learned being vulnerable means it's not safe. And that affected my journey massively of becoming more masculine. Because what is vulnerable? Vulnerable is very feminine. And when you're very feminine, what I learned is not safe. So, of course, surely enough, I became more masculine because that was a lot safer. And I know there's so many women who suffer from the same thing. I know that you had to become more masculine because maybe you're a single mom, maybe you have children to look after, maybe you have parents to look after as well, maybe you're only one earner in the family, and you had to become stronger. But not only that, there's something deep inside of you, just like it was for me, that would actually disconnect you from your femininity. And in my case, it was not feeling safe when I'm vulnerable, not feeling safe to expose myself, not feeling safe to be truly myself, because that would lead to consequences. So that's, in a nutshell, my young years, which I know now looking back, I know I was blessed. Comparing to many more children in the world, I was so blessed. But at the time, it never felt that way. And the reason why I want to tell you this today, because I know how much it affected me to build all those limiting beliefs and stories in my own head. And I know how many of you are having the same stories in your head right now. And I know that from the moment I changed those stories in my head, which was a part of my personal development journey, I know that I feel so much more liberated. I feel more connected with myself. I feel like I'm at the top of the world because I am me. And I let myself be me. And I allow myself to be me, to go after what I want. And some people say, Olga, you just were lucky. And I said, no, that was a result of me working on myself. All that personal development journey, all those seminars, all those coaches, all those books and videos, right? I learned a long while ago, the more you invest into yourself, that will be the greatest asset. Okay, you can invest into yourself. Okay, you can never take yourself away. You can never lose yourself. You can never, misplace yourself. You're the only one, and you are the greatest asset with the biggest ROI, with the biggest return on investment. Because the more you invest into yourself, the greater your life will be. And I'm so lucky that I realized it when I was little. Well, little, I'm saying before 20s. And I remember me being, so driven and learning and exposing myself to more beauty of the world, and still learning. At that time, I started dreaming about running my own business, even though family was not business oriented, not business minded. I had no clue how to run business, but I had this dream of, running my own beauty salon so everybody could look beautiful. And then also when they would come and we would do their hair and their nails, I would also help them to change their mindset, to really work on their problems and issues so that they come out not only looking beautiful but also feeling beautiful, right? That was like my thing. I was like, oh my god, that'll be so different, that'll be so amazing. And I remember I was really dreaming about this and building my dream. And then I remember my first boyfriend at the time, he was Italian. We even came up with the name of the salon. It was supposed to be Bella Donna, right? Because when you come out you feel and you look like Bella Donna, which is a beautiful woman from Italian. And then what happened, then the life took over. And this is what happens very often. We get obsessed with one idea, and in my mind it was, oh, that's it, I want family, I want baby. And that was so big for me, and I stopped dreaming. And for me it was such a biggie. And then I remember I split up with my boyfriend at the time, and I got married, and we had a baby. And I realized that I left all my dreams behind. I was acting before marriage. I left my acting. I was modeling before marriage. I left modeling. I was learning a lot before marriage, and I stopped doing that. And the reason why I stopped doing that, because I didn't value that. I valued it so much up to that moment. And then I know now, but at the time I didn't realize. I know now what I have done. I changed my priorities, and I followed society's story that when you get married, you stop growing. Can you see how powerful our stories are? And I know why I had this story, because my mom, she was raising 4 children and she couldn't work on herself. There was no chance for her to work on herself because she couldn't. She had to raise us, she had to look after us, she had to do all of that. So as you can imagine, I just was simply following that blueprint, that path in my head, what marriage is, that story in my head. And I know there's so many who have a particular story about relationships, about family, which is not allowing you to stretch yourself, which is not allowing you to grow more, right? So it's important to really always, always, always check, what story do I hold in my head when it comes to family, when it comes to relationships? How my story about my relationships is aligned with my dreams, right? And if you see you are limiting yourself because of the family, because of the the marriage, or because of relationship, that means it's time to relook at your story. Because probably, like in my case, it's not even your story. It was my mom's story, not even her own story, but the story which I developed for her by looking at her life. And that's what often we do. We observe something and we develop a story. We develop a blueprint, a belief. This is how it is. So for me, of course, getting married was the end of the world, end of the freedom, end of the personal development, end of my dreams and everything else, because I allowed that to happen. So I wonder how many of you actually allow yourself to stop dreaming, to stop chasing your dream, to stop manifesting your dreams into your life, simply because you have a limiting story. It could be something to do with your job, could be something to do with your health, could be something to do with your family. In my case, I allowed myself to believe this nonsense story that actually, when you get married, you lose your freedom and you lose your growth and you lose your dreams. Your life stops. And I know it's nonsense. Now I know it's such a nonsense. But back then I didn't. So as a result, surely I got divorced at 24. At the age when everybody gets married, I already got divorced. And I realized I want to grow. It has been already nearly 5 years, and I realized I want to grow. I want to be more. I want to go back to my journey. I want to follow my dreams. I want to do what I always wanted to do. And I realized, bless my ex-husband, he's an amazing, amazing man. He's an amazing father. Not even once I can tell any bad word about him. But we were just different. We were not growing together, right? And now I know, if only I would probably, you know, open up more with him, if only I would share my dreams with him, if only I would tell him about what I want, maybe he would also grow with me. I know what happens. If you remember, my belief was, it's not good to be you. It's not safe to be you. It's not okay to be who you truly are. So I was putting myself in this cage, in this box, and I was projecting that person. And that person was very happy. I'm not saying I wasn't happy. No, no, no. I was very happy. I was very satisfied, but I wasn't connected with myself because I was already living the life of being that proper, that person who is that proper, who is living that life in a proper way. That's what I loved about seeing sand on my shoulder, because there's no way I would allow myself to do a video with having sand on my body, not looking proper before, because that was part of my journey, becoming a proper. And the reason why I wanted to become a proper was because when I grew up, I didn't want to belong there. I was ashamed. I was really feeling sorry for myself, where I came from, and therefore I wanted to become proper. So here I am, getting divorced, not being proper anymore, because being divorced is not proper. That's against society rules. You don't get divorced at that time, especially back in Latvia. I'm not sure if I said I was born in Latvia, right? I'm Russian, born in Latvia. And at that time, everybody was judging me like, Olga, where are you gonna go? What you gonna do with a child? You'll be a single mom. So as you already remember, I had so many people nice saying to me because they were limiting me. And you know what I learned at that age? Even though I was only 24 and I had no money and I didn't speak any English, I realized now or never. It is now or never I will follow my dream. It is now or never I will do what I always wanted to do. So I picked up my child, I took 100 pounds, and I left Latvia. And I went to the UK. I landed in the UK. I wanted to say here, but I'm not there anymore. I landed in the UK, and I thought, oh my God, I have so much money. I'm going to create so many opportunities. I will do so many things. And I realized really quickly that 100 pounds in my pocket in the UK is nothing. And also, without speaking English, you can't really get far. Sunshine, there is a problem. So looking back, so many people say, "Okay, that was so inspirational how you did that." What I would like to say, that was so irresponsible to take my own child and go to UK without English, without having a job, without having money, just to land in the country. That was so hugely irresponsible. But same time, if you remember, I had a vision. I had a belief and a vision that I can make it happen. That was my big, big thing, that I will do whatever it takes and I will make it happen. And guess what? It was only one way ticket. And I wouldn't say it was easy. It wasn't, because within probably 6 months, I lost so much weight. I was looking anorexic. I was looking like a skeleton because I had no food. I remember I was giving food to Nick, to my son, and I was literally eating as little as I could. So at least I could still carry on. But at the same time, I was losing weight because that was not enough. But for me, it was, I know this makes me very emotional. Many people say, yes, you would sacrifice for children everything. And that's exactly what I was doing. I knew that he was my priority, and I knew that I need to make it for him because I wanted to give him everything I ever wanted. Ooh, that is a very vulnerable moment for me to share this with you and getting emotional as well. And I realized that it's now or never. So, since then I have this rule of suck it up and move on. Suck it up and move on. What made me even more masculine? So as I remember, I already was becoming more masculine because I was detaching from myself, not being vulnerable, not being myself, not allowing myself to show myself because I thought that was not safe. Long story short, because it was a long journey in the UK, eventually I got to the point where I started doing what I do now, which is coaching, which was a big journey for me as well. And there were a few people who played a really important part on this journey. One of those people was a man whom I met and with whom we got together. And unfortunately, this man used me hugely financially. I ended up in a debt of 40,000. And that was at a time when I built my business and my business started doing great. And I already was feeling like, okay, now I can give my child anything I want. Now we can really enjoy the life. We start traveling, we start going to places and really, really like enjoying every moment of life. And then I meet this man. And this man simply told me the story what was in my head, that if I cannot be me, then whom will I attract? People at that level of what I'm projecting. And unfortunately, this what happened. And that took me not only back to the beginning of being in the UK, it took me probably like 2 decades backwards. Because now I had to rebuild myself emotionally. Now I had to rebuild myself financially. Now I also had to rebuild myself physically because I also was pregnant. And this man, he just never wanted to even find a job. He never wanted to even do anything because his words were, I'm comfortable because you provide. And I never shared this story publicly, and I do it now because I know how many women and men, not only women, but also men, are in a similar situation when they are used financially, when they are abused emotionally. And I would like just to speak to you, to your heart right now. You don't have to be there. You don't. Your life changes when you decide for that to change. And for me, it was to make that decision. Why why do I have to be in these relationships? I don't have to. I can just simply walk away and rebuild myself again. I never seen a penny back from that man, and I know I never will. And guess what? I will never even chase him because I know that my sanity, my mental state, my my emotional state was always more important than that money. And of course, when you focus on something, you're gonna bring you money. When you focus on doing great what you do, you're gonna bring you money. And what happened then? I started learning. And this is when, like there's a saying, there's always a silver lining in every cloud. This is when I came across Tony Robbins. Because I remember I was feeling so frustrated and devastated and hurt after also finding out, in addition to all of that, abused financially, abused emotionally, after abortion, I also found out he cheated on me all this time. And I realized, okay, now I'm a complete wreck, a complete emotional wreck. I'm broken at every possible level. And I realized now and never, I need to go back to personal development again. And I remember this day, I will never forget that. I went on YouTube and I typed how to deal with emotions. And there was a video of Tony Robbins. And at that time, my English already was much better. It was already much better. I was running my own business. Because of business, I was going to events to improve my English and meet people. And what happened, I remember I started listening to him and I was like, oh my God, this man talks so fast. I cannot even understand him. But because of him, I not only improved my language because he speaks very fast, I also improved my own state. I also took myself out of that emotional, financial, and physical wreck, and I leveled up myself. And then I started building up myself, reshaping myself, and I started becoming that butterfly, who is now ready to fly. And then one day I remember I came across information saying that Tony Robbins is doing an event in Florida, and I thought, oh, that's an opportunity to travel. That's that's an opportunity for me to learn something new and also travel. Two things at a time, two things I'm so passionate about at the same time. How exciting is that, right? So this is exactly what I have done. I went to Florida. But if you think I had money, you're wrong. Because if you remember, I'm still getting out of my financial situation, right? The debt of mine is 40,000. So what I've done, I took a loan in a bank. I took a loan in a bank to pay for my seminar. And I went there when I had no spare money to spend. I had no spare money to spend, but I knew going to that seminar will transform my life. And if you heard what I said exactly this. I knew that going to this seminar will transform my life. And here I would like to call all of you out on how connect are you to your intuition? Because your intuition is your best friend. Your intuition is something what will take you from one level to another if only you listen to your intuition. And this is what I have done. I listened to my intuition. I knew if I will go there, my life will get transformed. And this is exactly the time when I found out that coaching is an official thing. Actually, he was a coach. And I was like, oh, so everything about coaching is exactly what I was doing. Of course, without being qualified, without knowing so many more things which a coach should know. But I realized that exactly what I was passionate about, exactly what I was loving to do, was called coaching. And if you remember, I listened to my intuition. And that's exactly how I came across to what I do now. So, fast forward, long story short, because I don't want to keep you here for too long, here's another peak point in my life, which happened when I met another man and we got into deep relationships and we started living together, we got engaged. And that was the time again when I stopped my growth. I stopped my growth because, going back to that story, it was about now I have to fit in what a proper wife will be like. Now I have to fit in into what he wants rather what I want. And surely he was the person who was proving my story, right? You should remember whatever you believe will always come back to you again, again, again. So I cannot blame him for being controlling. I cannot blame him for being the way he was because I know that I manifested him. I manifested him based on my own thinking. I manifested his behavior based on my own stories in my head. So surely I stopped growing again until the moment when I realized this is way too much. I'm not happy. I'm hiding myself again. I'm not connected to myself again. I'm under control all the time. Things are not happening the way what makes me happy. In fact, I'm not happy at all. And even though we were engaged, I realized if I marry this man, one day I will divorce. And I realized I don't want to do that. And that's why I decided to actually start thinking about our relationships. And that thinking was excelled after the time when I shared with him that, with my coaching, I would like to step up and level up. And I would like, to help even more people globally. So what I want to do is to do my own events. I want to speak publicly. I want to reach out to so many hearts, so many souls to help them to transform themselves because I know how much impact it had on my own life when I started working on my own mindset. And my decision to leave this relationship became final after these words. Olga, who do you think you are? You have nothing to give. You came from a small village in Latvia. You have nothing to motivate with. You have no story. Nothing really will inspire people about you. What do you have to pass on to people? And that's exactly what made me think that this is wrong relationships. And I realized it's time to work on myself again. If you remember, I had a vision. I had a vision. I wanted to travel. I had a vision. I wanted to help more people. Can I travel with these men? No. Can I help more people with these men? No. Because I am not full. I'm not plentiful. I'm not feeling loved. I'm not even confident in myself anymore because he knocked off my confidence over the time. But it's easy to blame him here. And I don't want to do that because I'm grateful. I'm grateful and thankful for him to open up where I was at the time. Because remember, people around you, they will show what do you think about yourself? How do you feel about yourself? And of course, was I feeling enough? No, because I didn't believe in myself either. Even though I was helping so many people, I did not feel I'm good enough to go higher. So can I blame him? No, I can only be grateful to him. Because of that push, 13 months later, I became an international speaker. And I went all the way from Singapore at the time where I was, all the way to Frankfurt to give my speech. And I became an international speaker. And I will never forget the tears of joy in my eyes when I realized right now I do exactly what I always wanted to do. Not only I travel, not only I help people around the world, but also I became international speaker. And for me, that was such a pride, such a beautiful moment of my own achievement. And yet, was not that's all, right? Because what was happening after that, I realized I need to go and learn even more. So if you were listening to me all this time, you probably heard me saying learn and learn and learn so many times. Because guess what I learned? I learned one thing. Again, learn. The more you learn, the more you earn. And when in December last year, I went to the seminar Date with Destiny with Tony Robbins, the man to follow, the man to fall in love with. I realized all I want to do right now, despite the pandemic, despite the COVID situation in the world, all I want to do now is to go travel the world. All I want to do now is to help even more people, to transform even more people, to reconnect even more people with themselves, because that's exactly what I have done on my long, long journey. And one thing I would like to tell you that life is so much more fulfilling, so much happier, so much plentiful, so much joyful when you're really connected with yourself. When you finally allow yourself to be you, when you finally allow yourself to go after what you want, when you finally allow yourself to be with people with whom you want, not with whom you're supposed to be, when you really align your passion with your mission, with your dream, this is when you feel truly happy. So that was the reason why I wanted to share my journey. There are more details to that. Of course, there are many more details to that, but I just wanted to share with you this journey because I wanted to call you out. That person, you particularly, I'm speaking to you right now, that you having that passion, having the talent, having the gift within yourself, I want you to finally realize everything what happened so far in your life. that was just a training. Look at it as that was special forces training for you to become who you really need to be. Just like in my life, everything that I went through, the poverty, the bullying, the lack of love, the abuse, the verbal, the sexual one, the lack of money later on, the nonsense relationships, all of that made me who I am right now. And right now it empowers me to be not only that plentiful and loving and happy and joyful, but it also empowers me to help so many people around the world. It's so remarkable how right now I can be in Gran Canarias and still work with people internationally. But that's what it means when you allow yourself to step into your own greatness, into your own gift, into your own talent, and you allow the talent to come out of you. And when you reconnect with that and you let that lead you. So I cannot address it enough. Connection with yourself is really important. From the young age, I lost connection with myself. I disconnected with myself because I wanted to be proper. And then, many decades later, I only realized that being connected with myself means everything. I like what Tony Robbins says: the state of all your relationships in life, intimate, friendships, clients, work, are the state of you. So the way you are, open or closed, driven or not, ambitious or not, honest or not, connected or disconnected, the way you are will always show up in your relationships, in your life, not just intimate, but all others as well. And I would like to finish off with Gene Ron phrase. He said, work harder on yourself, but you work on your job. And that's exactly what I learned. Work harder on yourself, that you work on your job. Because when you do that, then you get rewards. Then you get rewarded by feeling happy, by feeling fulfilled, by feeling so connected with yourself like never before. But only when you really work harder on yourself than on your job. So I would like to wish you a wonderful, wonderful day. Whatever you do, have fun. And one more thing, don't forget, connect with yourself. If you don't know how to connect with yourself, reach out to me. Because the minute you will connect with yourself, you will reconnect in your relationships. You will reconnect with money. You will reconnect with abundance. You will reconnect with attracting, manifesting things effortlessly and beautifully into your life. You will reconnect with the joy and love within yourself, but you will not be craving that love from somebody else. You will not be craving having plenty of people around you because you'll be so plentiful within yourself. When you reconnect to yourself, then your dreams become true. But you really, 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 did I say really, have to reconnect with yourself. Because when you do that, then magic happens. Well, I hope my story will inspire you. I hope my story will motivate you. I hope there were some nuggets which you could take away, learn, probably also act on them. And I truly, truly hope one day we can meet so we can talk about your story and I can learn about yourself. Just remember, if you ever need any help, any support, I'm here. And remember one more thing. Let's stop being perfect. As you can see right now, I'm on the beach with sand all over me, right? Not worrying about proper background, not worrying about being in a proper studio, not worrying about looking proper with proper makeup, proper hair, proper body. All I'm worried about, not worried, but all I'm willing to do is to give you value. Because when you give value to people, this is when you truly, truly follow your passion. This is when you truly connect with your gift and your talent. Because for me, it's about helping you to become who you were meant to be. For me, it's about helping you to close the gap between where you are right now to the person you want to be, that well connected, that well joyful, that's so happy, satisfied, and fulfilled, living the true purpose, living the true passion. So I'll leave you with that. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day, and I will do my short walk on the beach until my next meeting. And hopefully, one day we will speak with you too. Message me, email me, or call me. I'm here to help you because I know the importance of personal growth. I know how important it is to work on yourself, and I'm willing to hold your hand and I'm willing to help you, and I'm willing to stay accountable to you. There's so much you can do by yourself, but then you lose the motivation because you lose the accountability, right? Because you're accountable to yourself in the beginning and then you lose it. So I'm here to help you, to support you, and take you on your amazing journey. Thank you so much for listening to me. It was a joy having you here. Mwah. Sending hello to everybody. I couldn't read all the comments, but I will get back to you definitely.